Tomorrow, Adam Pacitti bad smells. And I know what you're thinking, dear viewer, but no, his mother, darling Lynn Pack herself, she's not bringing round her world-famous onion soup for Sunday dinner. That poor bugger, Mr. Adam Pacitti himself, has to spend a whole 24 hours inside hell in a smell. It's gonna be stinky. 1 p.m. GMT, it all gets underway right here on the Cultaholic Wrestling YouTube channel. And knowing what's in store, having seen what's in store, I cannot bloody wait, because it makes the last 2 years look like My Little Pony. Oh, it's going to be good. But I'm Ross from Cultaholic, and without any further ado, let's take a look at your Saturday morning news headlines. Several WWE talents have reportedly confronted Vince McMahon over the widespread Twitch bans. The reason for Matt Riddle losing his first name of course, not his sexy living room shag pile carpet, has reportedly been revealed. And way I, bonny lads, a lovely Geordie fella is returning to AEW very soon indeed. Away, man. Now, as we've seen over the past couple of days, a number of WWE superstars have announced that they've been forced to suspend their Twitch accounts because, quite frankly, Vince McMahon does not want them to do it anymore. And now we have a report from PW Insider that indicates a number of those superstars have had a sit-down meeting with Vince McMahon himself in an attempt to get the boss man to change his mind on the whole Twitch ban thing. I reckon they would have had better luck trying to get some blood out of his stony dead heart. But that's besides the point. And given that the likes of AJ Styles and Paige's streaming accounts still haven't come back, as we're stood here right now on Saturday morning, we can safely assume, I guess, that meeting was unsuccessful. And according to PW Insider once more, and I need to make sure to read this one out word for word because, quite frankly, it's absolutely baffling. Sources on WWE's site have downplayed those fears. The fears, of course, that WWE potentially owning these superstars' Twitch channels could see these superstars have money quite literally taken out of their pocket by the company. These WWE sources have pointed out that since these talents are not on the road, their road expenses are down, and pointing out that last year, pretty much the entire roster across the board signed new deals with higher downside guarantees, so even if they are making less than expected, their guaranteed downsides are higher to begin with compared to a few years ago. And one question there immediately springs to my thick mind, and that is, WWE sources, you absolute set of boffins, you really clever people. What happens when the superstars do actually go back on the road and all of the expenses go back up? Your argument there, it's gone. And I tell you what, this entire scenario is an absolute mess. I could initially sort of see where WWE were coming from when they were telling their superstars, hey, if you're using your official WWE owned name on your Twitch streams, which isn't benefiting WWE really whatsoever, you can't use it. I could sort of understand that. But for those superstars like Paige, who first of all are not using their WWE own name and are merely using Twitch to connect with their fan base and not taking away anything whatsoever from WWE, and that's because WWE, she broke her neck twice wrestling for your company and cannot do the wrestling anymore. She never appears on TV. It's just baffling when we find people like Paige in this situation, isn't it? Paige has noted how these Twitch streams for her are helping with her mental health, and I fully appreciate where she's coming from when speaking about that. And if there's one thing I've learned from taking my own personal break and receiving lovely messages from lovely people like you out there, it's that some of you lovely people use people like Twitch streamers and us clowns on YouTube to get away from the absolute bollocks going on in your life. So not only in this situation here is the Twitch streamer suffering, but also the viewer base as well. It's a mess. Hey, if Kane was on Twitch live streaming full WWE pay-per-views, bypassing the WWE network and not getting $9 or £9.99 out of your pocket every single month, I could see where WWE are coming from. But these superstars in question here, in their spare time, by the way, when they're not doing the wrestling for WWE, they're playing games, they're having chats with the communities, they are raising money for charity. The likes of Dakota Kai and Mia Yim have done great work on that front. They're helping people out. They're doing these Twitch streams for wholesome reasons, but WWE, they want to stop that, and that is strange. I mean, according to the news, WWE are reportedly going to be launching their own Twitch channel at the end of this year, so they don't want anything whatsoever to get in the way of that big launch. But I'm asking the question, surely if their superstars have massive Twitch followings to begin with, doesn't that then benefit the WWE Twitch channel because they've already got established people on the platform? I don't know what's going on. Now, as we saw a few short days ago, Matt Riddle had his WWE.com profile changed. Matt is no longer there. He's just going to be known as Riddle, it would appear, from here on out. But don't worry, man. I've been called Riddle all my life, man. It's cool, like a cat. And I was wondering if Matt Riddle's response to this reported name change was still the same after he read this report from the Wrestler Observer himself, Mr. Ravy Davy, Dave Meltzer himself. The company made the decision to drop Matt Riddle's first name. He's now just Riddle. The story was that they wanted to not have people Google Matt Riddle and come up with the details of the lawsuit against him and WWE. I mean, first of all, WWE, if there's a glaring issue like this one, a really severe issue that you feel you need to hide, surely just taking Matt Riddle off TV is the only answer there, is it not? And secondly, and I tried this out for myself on my own computer here in the Cultaholic offices just to see if it was true, when you Google Riddle now, you see nothing to do with WWE superstar Matthew James Cuthbert Riddle, which then forces you to Google Riddle WWE, and what happens? You see Matt Riddle, you see lawsuits, and this apparent name change, and the reason for it has been absolutely pointless. Oh, an old man not knowing how Google works, eh? Vince McMahon not knowing how Google works. Who saw that coming? Now, people who watched this week's NXT and saw Peter Dunne return to action are asking themselves, hey, if Peter Dunne can come back, why can't Geordie Pak appear on AEW Dynamite? You can put your fears to bed right now because the bastard is coming back to AEW Dynamite this upcoming week. The official AEW Twitter account took to Twitter because that's where the official AEW Twitter account lives, and they tweeted the following: after months of silence and isolation, we'll hear from Pak. So will he be there in person? Who knows? I certainly hope so. I tell you one person who is not hoping that he'll be there in person, and that is surely Mr. Eddie Kingston. And you see, that's because in Geordie Pak's absence from AEW duty, Eddie Kingston, he's formed his own family, hasn't he? He's taken the Lucha Bros and he's taken the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny. But the last time we saw Geordie Pak on AEW Dynamite, he had formed a trio with Rey Fenix and with Penta called the Death Triangle. So we've got a triangle, we've got a hexagon. Do triangles and hexagons go together? I don't think they do. Run, Eddie Kingston, run. Now, via Brian Alvarez's Twitter account last night, we learned that WWE finished writing last night's installment of Friday Night SmackDown roughly an hour before the show went on the air. As Phoebe Buffay herself once said to another Ross, this is brand new information. Oh, I'm shocked. And I guess that would explain why ahead of last night's SmackDown we had so little announced for the show. We had Dolph Ziggler versus Kevin Owens, that was announced. We had Jey Uso versus Daniel Bryan, that was announced. And we had a segment for the big dog that was announced as well. And I don't know about you, when I saw this story, and every single time I see this story, I think about a valuable life lesson my mum told me when I was a little boy. Fail to prepare and you prepare to fail, or something like that. That's why I'm stood here, because I don't listen to me mum, but I do wish me mum would have a go at Vince McMahon. Writing these shows with an hour to spare, handing your homework in an hour before the deadline, unacceptable, Vinny. And finally, if you are a person who wants to own some of Sting's merchandise, it would appear you're going to have to go around to the Stinger's house, ring the Stinger's doorbell, have Sting answer the door, where you can ask Sting, hey Sting, do you have any of your spare merchandise locked up in your garage or something? I'll give you a few quid, can I have some? And that's because WWE's online shop is no longer stocking Sting merchandise. Now, back in May of this year, yes, I know I feel like it was 10 years ago, but it was just this past May, we learned that Sting is no longer under contract with WWE, and Mattel, who were planning to release an action figure as part of their Legends series, they pulled that from being released as well. And as for Sting, as we all know, the last time he turned out on a WWE TV show, it was the Ric Flair 70th birthday celebrations all the way back in February of 2019, not 1939. Ric Flair isn't that old. And who knows what any of this means now? I mean, the Stinger himself, he's 61 years old. He had his career ended after that buckle bomb from Seth Rollins himself, and that went a little bit wrong. He can't wrestle anymore. So all these rumours about him going to AEW, what will he do if he does go to AEW. He can't wrestle, can he? He cannot wrestle. He's going to wrestle, isn't he? He's going to bloody wrestle. And on that is it for your Saturday morning headlines. I've been Ross Twaddell from Cultaholic Wrestling here on the YouTube. Join us later today where I'll be here with the WTF moments for last night's SmackDown. Adam Pacitti himself is here with SmackDown Gradies. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. GMT, Adam Pacitti, 24 hours, lots of smelly things. Hell in a smell! You don't want to miss it. I'll see you later on today.